Hey guys, it's Parsifal. I also go by Will, and I am back with another speed paint. This is going to be a speed paint just sort of explaining why I am not good at storytime videos. I do have a couple of them up on my channel. I do want to sort of make a few more, but I want to do some talking about what I have noticed about speed paint videos on YouTube that are story times, or not necessarily speed paint videos on YouTube, I guess just story times on YouTube in general, and why I think I'm not so great at making them. So, as usual, if you guys don't want to hear me babble because you don't like the way I speak, you don't like my voice, something like that, or you just don't want to hear someone talk over a speed paint, that is fine. You can mute my audio and put on your own music. I do not mind at all. But for the other people, let me start by just getting into the art real quick. This is Anubis. He is a character owned by Elevera on Toy House and DeviantArt, and I drew him for an art trade, or an art payment, but I believe it was an art trade. And I had a lot of fun with him. He's got those really fun jackal ears, and I love his tattoos and designs and piercings and stuff. So yeah, that is what that is about. And other than that, I don't really have too much to talk about here. So I'm going to get into the talking about story times. So I personally love storytime videos. I watch a lot of them on YouTube. I watch a lot of artists who do story times, and I watch a lot of people who aren't artists do story times, like vloggers or makeup artists or stuff like that. If someone has storytime videos, I am usually pretty excited about that because I like to listen to them in the background. And so it doesn't really matter to me whether it's an artist doing a storytime or a vlogger doing a storytime. I find it very fun to listen to, and I think that humans in general just love hearing about other people's lives, especially dramatic parts of their lives, because that's why we like entertainment. And storytimes are usually pretty dramatic. I've noticed that it's a lot of like, oh, I met a crazy person who did a wacky thing and I can't believe it, or my life was in danger, or something like that. Or in the arts community, a lot there's like a lot of, oh, my art teacher hates me, stuff like that. And like, it's really exciting, or it's really stupid on one end or another, in terms of like someone did something stupid or acted stupid, or did something dangerous or something like that. And that is really, really cool. And I love hearing about people's exciting lives. But I think that's part of the reason that I personally am not very good at storytime videos. One, I don't have a very good memory. I feel like I lose memories a lot and I remember them later. But I don't particularly remember a lot of events very easily, unless it was like some sort of weird, abnormal event that just stuck in my brain for some reason. And admittedly, I don't experience a lot of those. So, for one, remembering stories and how they go is very difficult if I can't really remember the events in general. I feel like a lot of it is just me sort of trying to focus on things that I enjoy in life as opposed to things that I have no idea how to deal with. And if I was in a really, really bad state and I didn't like something, I'd rather not remember that time frame, if that makes any sense. Because, like, why would I necessarily want to remember the times that I'm unhappy? And I think my brain just sort of stops thinking about that kind of stuff. Not to say that, like, oh, people who do storytime videos, they are only focusing on the negative, but it's more like I don't know, I think it's just the way my thought process works, and I don't really necessarily remember the exciting bad things that could happen and stuff like that. Another reason I don't think I'm very good at story times is I think my life is pretty boring. I don't really encounter a lot of crazy stuff, and I don't really encounter a lot of, like, stuff that has like bad decisions involved in it, because I am a bit of a coward and I don't like doing things that are dangerous or could get me hurt. So I don't get exposed to a lot of situations where it's like, oh, I did something crazy and here's the results, or like someone I know did something really wacky and we probably shouldn't have done this, but we escalated the situation and stuff like that. And that's just, I have a pretty boring life, so I don't really have a lot of stories that are very interesting to tell. But the other thing is, oh, and also I'm a coward. But the other thing is that even if I do have like decent stories to tell, like I feel like I'm pretty chill about things that happen. I work in retail, and retail has been something I've been doing for 11 years. And I'm pretty okay with things that happen. I try and be a pretty go with the flow person. Part of that is because I don't like confrontation too much, or I try and be an adult when it comes to confrontation. And I try not to let certain things bother me too much because it just makes the situation worse for me. And so as a result, I don't really have situations that like are super duper exciting because I tend to avoid them just because they don't tend to bother me emotionally, which is, you know, that's not a very good story. Like, oh, someone yelled at me and I said, "Okay, let me get my manager for you." That's not an exciting experience. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, I know that some people are really into story times like I am, and what are some trends that you guys have noticed about storytime videos that you're like, oh, huh, so this is how you create a storytime video, or this is something that I've noticed? I'd love to hear it down in the comments, and I don't really have too much else to say. I'm just making a video of why I don't think I'm going to be very good at storytime videos and why I don't make a lot of them. As usual, all the links are down below, including my Patreon, and thank you guys so much for your support. I will see you next time. Bye!